How am I winning? So you all saw that Sean was number one for conversations. He was in the top 3 for top 10 closed units. He had 4 closings last month. And I had a conversation with Sean and I was like, Sean, can you please share with your peers and your colleagues and tell them what is it that you're doing to win right now, right? Because in some of my conversations, agents are saying that there's no business, they're struggling, and we all know that it's all based on your effort, right? Your results are a reflection of your effort. And we can unshare the screen just so that we have the opportunity to see Sean a little bit better. And so I wanted all of you to get to hear from Sean. And so Sean, thank you for doing this. And I'd love if you could just start off with what is it that you're doing that is getting you the results? What is it? Give us the secret sauce because we're all looking for it.
I've thought about that a lot, and honestly, I don't know if there's any one specific thing. I think it's a combination of a few things. Number one is it's mindset. Looking at everything as an opportunity. I think we're in a career where there are going to be a lot of ups, there are going to be a lot of downs, and just staying right in the middle, not getting too high, not getting too low. Even when something doesn't go your way, when someone tells me no, I've learned to embrace it. That's an opportunity to me. When I first started and I would have someone tell me no on a pond call or hang up on me, I would get upset. And then I realized this is basically a numbers game if you're doing the activities. So that person telling me no makes it statistically more likely for the next person to say yes. So tell me no. I love it. I just know that I'm going to get the next one. So I don't think, viewing things as positive or negative is the way to go. I just think looking at everything as an opportunity, I'd say is important.
I love that. Mindset. I love that you started off with mindset because it's your perspective on how you view those no's, on how you view the effort. What would you say, what strategies, right? We know that you've got the right mindset and you're doing the work, you're putting in the effort. That's very clear. Would you agree?
I think so, yeah. I hope so.
All these sales aren't just falling out of the sky for you. What are some of the strategies that you're using in order to find people to do business with, right? Because a lot of people right now, they don't have consumers that are taking action right now. And how did you get to that point where you do have people that are actively selling and buying with you right now?
I think it has a lot to do with the same thing of, looking at something like that as an opportunity. A lot of people right now are not in a rush to make a move. And I think that there's an opportunity there to build a relationship with those people. And I think focusing on creating relationships with people and building their trust, rather than trying to sell homes 24 hours a day has helped me a lot. I definitely talk about real estate with people. I have a ton of conversations about real estate, and I'm confident doing it because of all the training that you guys offer. But I bet if I listen to the majority of my calls from deals that I've done, those conversations would be about nothing about real estate. Sometimes just calling someone to ask how their weekend was or how their kids are doing, or maybe they have a parent who's not doing well, and just asking them those questions. I feel like they appreciate that, and it helps build trust. And over time, these people are going to look at you when they're ready to purchase, especially right now, I think.
Love that.
Love
So
that.
building the human connection.
Yes, I'd say that's my strength.
Laurie.
Hey, Sean, how are
Hey, Laurie.
you? Hi. So thank you for letting me jump in, Camilla. I'm like drooling over here, like want to talk to Sean. So Sean, you're one of the people in our company. You just had your 1-year anniversary. And I like to watch from a distance, and I watch patterns and behaviors and people who show up to things. I watch mindset, attitude, and I'm going to score you 10 on all of those. The question I want to ask you, because I've had the opportunity to see the data on your dials and your contracts and what you're doing, and only the data can tell us really if you're doing what you say you're doing. I want to ask you, when it gets really, really hard, because let's be real here, you guys, life is hard. It's not easy. But when it gets hard and you're not winning, you've made those dials, you've gone out and shown property, you've gone on listing appointments, you're showing up for everything, you're grinding. but you're not getting the result you want. How do you manage that? Because I think that's where people get stuck.
That's a great question. I think it's a lot of just trusting the process, knowing that if you're committing to the activities and doing the same things over and over again, you're going to succeed in the long run. It may not happen this week or next week or in a month or 2 months, but over time it will pay off. And one thing that I did when I started was I was really almost obsessed with creating a schedule for myself that worked for me. Some schedules work for certain agents. A lot of agents like to block out time in the morning, say like from 9 to 12, they'll make their calls. What I found works for me is I block out certain days for certain activities. So, every Monday I make my dials, I do my prospecting, I follow up, and then Tuesday is my day where I'm on the MLS and I'm sending people listings. And that frees up, Wednesday through Friday to schedule appointments and do showings. And I just feel like being really consistent with that schedule. I've had months where I've had nothing, but then the next month I'll get, 3 or 4. And I think just being consistent and sticking with it, even when it gets tough, and just trusting that, we have the training to be successful. We have all the tools necessary. Like there's nowhere else you're going to get that. So just trusting that if you do what you're supposed to do over time, it will pay off.
So, gosh, you think we rehearsed this, because the first thing you said was trust the process. You guys write it down, trust the process. What Sean is saying to you, and why I'm so proud of him, is that there are months where he is, and I love the way you built a schedule around your life, and that's awesome, right? It's what works for you. We each have different things going on in our lives. One of the beauties of real estate is that you get to do that. As long as you build the schedule and you stick to it, you're good. So, but I love the fact that trust the process and what that means. And Sean and I have recently had conversations around it. You guys, if you show up, you make the dials, you do the activities, you win organically. Now we are surfing, and I say surfing because we got these giant waves going like this. We are surfing 20-foot waves right now. So the agent that shows up and does the activities, you can't get discouraged if you trust the process. Maybe no one buys this month because, look, buyers and sellers are moving much slower. But that doesn't mean in month 2, 3, and 4, you don't sell multiple properties. The challenge is, Sean, is that most people are quitting because they're not getting what they want. They're giving up on themselves, and they're giving up on the dream of being a real estate entrepreneur. So I love that you said, trust the process. I love that you said, listen, there's months, hey, it wasn't working in the beginning, but he never quit and he stuck to his schedule. Sean, is there anything else that you feel you could share with the 60 plus people that are here that would help them not give up on themselves? Because how I look at that, and I think how anyone looks at it, is when you're not winning, it's typically because you quit. So how do we help people not quit?
That's tough, because I think you kind of have to want it. If you don't want it, there's nothing that anyone can say or do that's going to push you to want it. And I'm unfortunate and fortunate that when we started, I was in a situation where I absolutely had to have it. And I told Marissa during training, I said, this is not even an option for me. I have to succeed at this, or, my wife's going to leave me. Like, it was like, so I had no choice. And I think if you're not in that mindset where this is, the thing for you, it's, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question, because.
Well, you just answered it.
Right.
If you have an exit strategy, if this doesn't work, or if you have a backup plan, or if you have a plan B, Sean, in a year or two, or whenever that is from now, I want you to journal your whole experience from the beginning, because your story is a story that needs to be told from Gary Keller's stage. That's where we tell those stories. For the guy who was like losing it, shit was happening in his life, things weren't working, and he said, no backup plan. That's what people need to hear, because you guys, fortunately or unfortunately, this is life. We're all in it together. And because Sean didn't have a plan B, it had to work. And I also know personally from the beginning, he did have those conversations with Marissa. And I will never forget, Sean, the text message I got from him, or the phone call, or maybe it was both, when his activity started paying off and he was getting deal after deal. And he said to me, Laurie, my family will never suffer again. And I went, hell yeah, baby, because that's why I'm here. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear from every one of you at some point, my family will never suffer again. So Sean, thank you. Journal it all. Keep writing it down. Make sure you remember every hard part of the path, because that's what everyone here needs to hear. Because everyone thinks it's like, you know, sparkly and rosy. You know, it's the greatest thing ever. I've been doing a lot of podcasts lately, you guys. And when they ask me about my path, and I'm talking about failing and falling on my face all the way through for the first, I don't know, 5 years, they're like, wow, that's what people want to hear. They think it's so, that it looks so easy for us. It's not. So Sean, I thank you. I adore you. I am here for you. I want to coach you. I want to coach people who want to win, and there's no freaking backup plan.
Thank you so much. I love you guys.
You got under my skin. Dang it. I wasn't paying attention again. My husband did the same thing 20-something years ago. All right.
Thank
you
you, Sean.
Can I share something about Sean?
Of course you can. We can make it Sean hour if you want. I'm like,
Well, I just want to mention something. One, he knew his outcome and said it out loud and shared with people. And number two, he did not skip any steps. And those are the two things that like were standouts about Sean. And so it does not surprise me the outcome he's had, because he was like, tell me what to do. He did every step very, very well and thoroughly, and didn't wait to make it perfect. He just did it.
That's awesome, Marissa. I love that. I love that you pointed that out. You know, it's interesting because a lot of people, they get lucky and they get like this quick, fast sale. So they skip all the important foundation. It's kind of like building a house without pouring the first level of the concrete, right? Because eventually it's going to crash if you haven't done all the steps. So